recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivia Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivia Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivia Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and this is the last ever main feed episode that will be recorded in this studio. It is the end of an era. Yeah, I mentioned it in the last Patreon episode. I have sold my house. It is a done deal. I move out in late July. There will be one more actual recording here. It'll be the After Dark episode recorded on Thursday night. Thursday, I think the 13th or 14th of July, when people are starting to come into town for the Jacksonville meetup, get-together weekend party thing that we're doing. And so that'll be the last one. But it is kind of a weird feeling to know that I'm going to be pulling a lot of this stuff down really soon. So I am slightly emotional. It's been a good studio, but that just means that we need to make this episode fantastic. So we have good memories to go by, and I've recruited 2 people to help me with that. Erin Barclay and Zahkia Mendoza are both here with me. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome back. I am so glad that you're here with me, and I got to tell you, we have some awesome guests today. First up, Clint Givens is with us. Hey, Clint.
Hi.
Hello. Now, Clint, I'm gonna do the normal intro and stuff, but you have submitted, and we've used so many questions that you've written, and they are well-written questions. I almost never have to do any significant editing to them. So from me to you, a huge thank you for all of the help and questions that you have sent in over the years. You are a very, very helpful person.
Thank you. It's fun to hear mine on the air.
Absolutely. And our other guest today, Meghan Mello, is with us today. Hello, Meghan.
Hey, Jonathan.
Super excited to have you here today, Meghan, and we are going to have a great time. So I want to get to know both of you a little bit better. We'll start with Clint. Clint, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hey, I'm from Norman, Oklahoma, and I am a high school math teacher. I teach at a public magnet school in Oklahoma City, and I love it. And then, so I don't do this anymore, but there was a period of a few years a while back where I was involved with an organization called Citizens Climate Lobby, and it's a volunteer group that's across the United States, in fact, around the world. And for several summers, I traveled out to Washington, D.C., and met with the staff of different members of Congress representing my state. And in one occasion, actually with my own congressman, to talk about climate change.
Wow.
And climate policy.
That is very cool. How did you get into that?
Well, I thought that I wanted to do something to help address the problems we're seeing with climate change. And someone told me about the group that was meeting where I live, and I checked it out and just got involved.
Very cool. Very cool. And love that you're a math teacher, too. That is, we have a lot of teachers who listen, and always a big plus in my book.
I was told there would be some math. Is that?
I'm hoping not.
No.
No.
And Meghan, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
My name is Meghan Mello. I'm from North Smithfield, Rhode Island. I am an athletic trainer. I work with physically active people for healthcare purposes. I fix them when they get better. If you're watching a sports game and you see, the people running out on the field when somebody gets hurt in football, that's what I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I work for a contracting and consulting company, so I've been working from home since before it was cool. And in the mornings, I connect clients who need medical care for their sports teams with athletic trainers in Massachusetts for their purposes.
It had to be Massachusetts, huh? Golly. No, that's really cool. And something fun about yourself.
So I like to keep active in unusual ways. I take gymnastics, ballet, and karate classes. So,
do you ever get to combine all three at one move?
I was doing handstands at the dojo last night.
Okay.
So that's,
I want to see a crane kick from a handstand. I'm thinking that would be a devastating blow downwards instead of upwards. Well, it is awesome to have both of you here today. I am super excited for this lineup, and we're going to get this thing started with Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
All right, Zahkia.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Oh, hi there.
Oh, hi. Very Midwest.
Yeah, you betcha.
Oh, yeah. So today's Warm It Up, Chris. It's a blast from the past, kind of. So I wanted to do the world's busiest airports, and I looked them up for 2021 and 2020, and I noticed that the results are kind of weird. And then I realized I had to do some data cleansing. 2021 and 2020 are kind of, the data's a little bit skewed because those are the airports that people are actually flying into, flights that were open in 2020. So I went back to 2019, the last year before the pandemic and everything kind of collapsed. We're going to go and name the I have top 20 here, but world's busiest airports in 2019.
World's busiest airports in 2019. Okay. Do we have to know the name of the airport or the city?
So I've got both city and airport here. Mm-hmm. I don't think there are any duplicates on this list. So, there are cities that have two. But yeah, I think either a city name or airport name will suffice. And I should also mention that this is busy by volume of people and not flight.
Oh, good call. Okay, who do you want to start with?
On my list here, let's start with Clint.
I'll try Chicago O'Hare.
Chicago O'Hare is number 6. Very good. And Erin, you're next.
Yay, I was hoping you'd come to me before someone else could say Atlanta. Hartsfield-Jackson.
Atlanta. Hartsfield-Jackson, number 1. Jonathan, you're next.
All right. I will go with Heathrow in London.
Heathrow in London is number 7. Very good. And Megan.
I was going to say Heathrow. I'll say, I don't know the name of the airport, but I'll say Tokyo.
Tokyo Haneda is number 5. Very good. Clint, you're up.
What about LAX?
LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, is number 4.
That's 5 in a row.
Yeah, we're doing good, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Erin.
No pressure.
No pressure.
De Gaulle in Paris.
Charles de Gaulle in Paris is number 10. Very good. All right, Jonathan, don't break the chain.
I don't know that this will be right. I'm just fighting between going foreign or domestic here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to guess Orlando, Florida.
Oh, no. Orlando is not on the list.
Negative. All right.
Yeah. Chain is broken.
Yeah, well,
Megan,
you know what? I was the best person to break it. I am the combo breaker.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off me a little bit.
Right.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to stick with my Asian theme, and I'm going to say Beijing.
Beijing, number 2. Very good.
We back to me?
Yep, Clint, you're up.
How about Hong Kong?
Hong Kong International Airport, number 8.
I'm going to use the Jonathan logic because it works so well for him and stay domestic. Dulles?
Did you say Dulles, like
Yes.
DC, or Dallas? Like
Dulles, IAD, DC.
that is not on the list.
What if I said Dallas?
You said Dallas, that would be on the list.
If you say, was it Love Field in Dallas that's on the list?
No, it's Dallas Fort Worth International Airport.
Okay. I was wondering about that one too.
Now we know, since I said it first.
All right. Well, Jonathan, you are up.
Okay. Well, then I will guess the most populous city I can think of in South. Oh, you know what? What about that one or that one? I'm gonna guess. What's the name of it? I can't remember. I forget the name of it now, but I'm gonna guess Toronto.
YYZ.
YYZ.
Yeah. Toronto Pearson.
Pearson. That's the one.
It's not on the list.
Oh, for God's sake. I feel like I'm choosing between two, and each time I'm choosing the wrong ones. So that's great.
So go against your instinct next time.
Okay.
All right, Megan.
Has anybody said JFK?
No one has said JFK. And I don't know if JFK is on this list.
Awesome.
I don't think so. No.
Thanks. I dodged a bullet.
Ooh.
What about Berlin?
Berlin is not on the list. Not Berlin.
Oh, no, we're fading. Now it's not just me missing them.
Erin, can you pick it back up?
If not Berlin, how about Munich?
Not Munich.
Oh, no.
Where else is there?
Jonathan?
I'm going to go with the one that I eschewed in favor of Toronto and say Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's a very populous city, but not one of the busiest airports.
Okay.
All right, Megan, and then we'll go one more time around.
Houston, IAH.
Houston, IAH. I think that would be a good guess, but it is not on the list.
Oh, no.
One more time around, guys.
Okay, it's
Clint.
not Berlin. It's not Munich. Show me Frankfurt.
Yes, Frankfurt.
Really?
14.
Wow.
Very good. All right, Erin.
How about Delhi? We haven't said anywhere in India yet, have we?
No, I was wondering about that one or the other big city.
Did you say Delhi?
I did?
Yeah, well, yes. New Delhi, Indira Gandhi is number 12.
Sweet.
Very good, very good. Jonathan.
I'm going to go with Rome.
Rome Fucimino is not on the list.
I did so bad.
And Megan?
Well, if Sao Paulo is not on the list, what about Rio?
Rio de Janeiro is not on the list. But I think you guys did fairly well in the warm-it-up.
There were things that I've had forever that I didn't say, like Mexico City and Bangkok. Were either of them on the list?
Neither, no.
Okay, well then I was just going to miss it with every guess I had after the second one then.
Well, we'll go through the list, the ones you missed.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is a good layover spot that if you're going from the U.S. to places out east. Dubai. Yeah, Dubai in the UAE.
Okay.
We did not get number 9, and I'm surprised no one said this one. Shanghai.
Mm-hmm.
Shanghai and Pudong.
Okay.
Number 11 is a massive airport that I've gotten lost in. That is Amsterdam Schiphol. And number 13 is probably, I would maybe think the most obscure, is Guangzhou International Airport in China.
Okay.
Number 16, I'm also surprised no one didn't say it's Seoul's Incheon Airport in South Korea.
Korea. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 17 is Istanbul International Airport in Turkey. Number 18 is Jakarta International Airport in Indonesia. Number 19 is Singapore Changi Airport.
I'm sure you pronounced that perfectly.
Changi? I heard that. That's how they say it in Carmen, San Diego, so I'm rolling with it. And number 20 is a domestic airport. I think it's the most evil airport because of that horse that's outside. It's Denver.
Oh.
That makes sense.
I wondered about, when I said Orlando, I was also wondering about Trenton because it's where a lot of international flights from Europe come in.
Interesting.
But, no, I guess not.
Oh, so that's the warm it up. You guys did fairly well, despite that little lull. I think you guys did great.
Oh, you're very kind. I hope that warms everybody up. I got to stretch here. Let me finish warming up. Okay. All right. Now I'm ready. All right. This is episode number 384. This is on the main feed, so I want to let everybody know that if you want more Trivial Warfare in your life, you just need to go to trivialwarfarearmy.com and sign up to be a lieutenant or higher. Lieutenant, it might be sergeant. It's the $5 a month level or higher, and you will get access to our archive full of shows, well over 200 episodes archived back there. If you are the $10 a month level or higher, you do earn the right to come on the show, which is also a lot of fun for us to meet you and get to see you and get to know you. So that's exciting too. That's trivialwarfarearmy.com. Also want to let you know that the Everyday Q&A Trivia Calendar is available for pre-order right now. So you can go get your copy at the link that I'm going to insert right here. Be sure to pick yours up now so that you don't have to think later when you're trying to figure out what to use as a stocking stuffer or for the white elephant presents. I know it is July, and I'm telling you, your life will be easier if you put it in the bag now. And then lastly, you can play along with today's game. Just download the TriviaMatic app, go hit the Play Now button, and enter this code.
970-205. That's 970-205.
And you will be able to play along with all of the questions as we do to see how you do. Or if you want to get a group together and play as a group, you can compete in the same way that we are. So I hope you enjoy that. That's on TriviaMatic app. All right, today's game, it's going to be Erin and Clint versus Jonathan and Meghan. Zahkia is hosting. And it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
All right, friends, let's play the game. I will say this game was inspired by my YouTube front page. So I looked at all the videos that YouTube recommended to me.
This sounds horrible.
It's great. I promise it's great. And wrote questions. And it's a very broad spectrum of questions. So we're going to have a good time. So let's get started. And round 1, question 1, in the category of TV. The 2022 Scripps National Spelling Bee was won in a spell-off by 14-year-old Harini Logan and was hosted by what beloved TV personality, though this hosting gig could be seen as a bit of a consolation prize.
Jonathan, I just sent you a message.
Oh, already.
I've got it.
Well, let me take a look at this message. Okie dokie. If you're confident, then I'm good with you. We're going to log in.
I don't know that to be true, but that's what I was thinking too. We should go with it.
Okay.
We're locked in. Yeah.
You can't lock in. We already locked in. You got to say it out loud.
So I asked a question about this at my game. It was the first time they'd ever had a spelling bee off, sudden death, whatever, which sounds profoundly stressful, but I believe it was hosted by LeVar Burton.
All right.
So,
no, go ahead.
Clint and Erin, you say LeVar Burton. Jonathan, Megan, what do you say?
Well, I follow this person on Twitter, and I love his podcast. We also said LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton's all around.
Yay.
That's good, because the correct answer is LeVar Burton.
There we go.
Yay!
Woo!
I also love his podcast. It's so fun.
I just
went to
love him. I just want all good things for him.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Round 1, question 2. In the category of boxing nicknames, what was the nickname of boxer Oscar de la Hoya given to him after he won a gold medal at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics shortly after graduating high school?
Jonathan, that sounds good. I have nothing on this one.
We are locked in.
Yeah, we can lock it in.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're locked in, so Megan, I was thinking Oscar de la Hoya. I think he's the Golden Boy. I think that's the nickname I associate with him. I'm not 100%, but that's.
Well, if it's after he won the gold medal and he was right out of high school, I mean, that makes sense to me. So if you feel comfortable with that, let's go with that.
I'm trying to think of any other nicknames that he had, though. I feel like there were multiple, and I am a little bit worried about that. But that's the only one I can think of right now. So I guess that's what we're going with. We'll say the Golden Boy.
All right. Jonathan and Megan say the Golden Boy. Clint and Erin, what did you say?
So sports is not really my category. I was never a big sports fan, but when I got into trivia, I was like, I gotta fix this. So I started building a little deck of flashcards on my phone. And in the sports category specifically, one thing that I've gotten to so far is boxers. And that's why. So it's very, very haphazard what I do or don't know about sports. But he is the Golden Boy of boxing.
Golden Boy. All right. Both teams say Golden Boy. Megan really zeroed in the hints that I put in the question. The gold medal right after he graduated high school. The correct answer is Golden Boy.
Nice.
It's amazing
Excellent.
how distinctly different the people are when you hear the words the Golden Boy, and then when you hear the words the Golden Girls. You get very different visuals in your mind as soon as you hear those. It's very different.
Yeah.
I just have images of all 4 Golden Girls in boxing matches.
Yes.
And B. Arthur boxing. Yes, I'm here for it.
Hell yeah. She would beat you, and then she'd tell you why you're dumb.
Yeah.
My wife loves Golden Girls, and I got her a print of B. Arthur fighting a velociraptor. So it's real.
That
So
happened.
someone else has thought of this. This is not an original thought. Okay. Round 1, question 3, in the category of literature.
Literature.
Though the book, The Count of Monte Cristo, is fictional, the main character, Edmond Dantes, is arrested on false accusations of being loyal to what very real world leader?
Okay, let's go ahead and go with that one then.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll lock in.
Clint and Erin, what you got?
Very little.
Not a lot. So this is going to be in France, is where all this is set. And I'm thinking, Erin, that maybe it's going to be a world leader that's not in France, or do we want someone from France? And also, what century? 1600s or 1700s, I think, is somewhere in there. The Three Musketeers time period? Is that... We got Cardinal Richelieu as well.
That's a guy. Was he a... Oof. My world history and literature are both very poor when it comes to this period of time, whatever period of time this may be. I have no idea.
Let me go through some English monarchs. In the late 1600s, you had William and Mary take over. And then at some point after that, there was Queen Anne. And I think George I came after her, maybe, or maybe right before. Later, when we had the American Revolution, it was George III. I don't think it's going to be that late, but I wouldn't swear to it. But this is definitely pre-French Revolution that all this was happening, right? Louis, so in France we've got King Louis, the 14, 15, and 16 leading up to the French Revolution. What world leader would we be talking about here?
Here's a dumb question. When was like Napoleon doing his thing? Was it in this approximate time period?
Right kind of after the French Revolution, the early 1800s.
This is too early. I would say don't give any credence to anything I say, because I really can't understate how little I know about European history.
Cardinal Richelieu, served like a monarch, and ask me which one, or don't. But that means it almost had to have been before the French Revolution.
Okay. So do you want to pick one of those English kings and queens?
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to figure out if I could get could Henry VIII be too early? Probably. Charles II, that's in the later 1600s, right? The Restoration. What about Charles II? Let's throw the dart on him.
Perfect. Locked in.
All right. Clint and Erin say Charles II. Jonathan and Meghan, what did you say?
All right. So I'm reasonably certain that this is going to be a French situation. Dumas was French. I believe that he wrote after the time of the Revolution, writing like in, 1820, 1830, maybe even 1850, and setting it backwards 50 years before, 20 years before, whenever that was. I believe that the setting was during one of Napoleon's exiles, meaning if you were a Napoleonist, then you would be somebody that was anti-government that people were trying to get rid of. So I think that the ruler that you're looking for is Napoleon. That's what we locked in with.
Oh, no.
All right. So Jonathan and Meghan say Napoleon. Clint and Erin said Charles II. I did get a correct answer, and it is indeed Napoleon Bonaparte. Nice job. Account of Monte Cristo was written in 1844, and it is set after Napoleon's first exile to Elba. So yeah, if you are a Bonapartist or if you're loyal to Napoleon, that was a big deal, and you need to be imprisoned.
Bonapartist is the word I was looking for. I'm like Napoleonist. It's like, no, that didn't sound right. What the hell did they call him?
I kind of like Napoleonist better. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Bonapartist.
Yeah.
I remember, like in the movies, I don't know if it's as clear. I don't remember, but in the books at least, I do remember that it's a memory of being specifically like, wait a minute, why are they arresting him? I thought Napoleon was in charge, and then he had to go find the dates and find the settings and all of the rest of it. So that's why it stuck with me.
Yeah. Like, there's one of the movies where they have a guy playing Napoleon and they show him being exiled to Elba. So they spell it out pretty clear. But yeah, the book is a little bit more nebulous. I definitely remember, well, wait a minute. Isn't this Napoleon times? Yeah. I got you. So at the end of round 1, we've got Jonathan and Meghan with 30 and Clint and Erin with 20.
All right. 30 to 20.
30 to 20. All right. Round 2, question 1 in the category of current pop culture.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. This is probably the most YouTube-y of all the questions. Kim Kardashian may or may not have ruined Marilyn Monroe's "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" dress when she attended what annual event that occurs the first Monday in May? Bonus points available. What museum lent Kim Kardashian Marilyn Monroe's dress?
Ooh, hold on. I got to grab this hammer here. Meow!
Oh, we got meow.
At least for the main question. We do have to talk about the bonus, though.
Okay.
So
That's 2.
You still got to do that.
I can die happy. I've seen the meow meow in person.
Zahkia, how specific do we have to be with the bonus answer?
Not super specific.
All right.
Like if we just said some museum out there, would that?
I mean, I'm going to need a name, but I don't need like a satellite location or anything like that.
Okay. We'll go ahead and lock in then.
Okay.
All right. Well, just like you guys, we got the main question right off the bat, and we're debating museums. I know I saw a bunch of people sharing this museum's post on Facebook right after the event to show the damage and to talk about how, ridiculous the whole thing was. And it's like, it's costume or fashion, or I think it's something like that. But I don't know, and I don't know that I'm going to pull it. So if Clint wants to, if you want to throw something out there, go for it.
Is there like a fashion institute? I might be thinking of like a school, though. That would be an institute, huh?
Yeah, there's like the New York Fashion Institute that I only know because of Project Runaway. And I don't think it was them because it was a place I'd never heard of. But it just, the name of the museum just greased right off my brain. So I'm operating on hunches here.
What if we just say Fashion Institute? And
sure.
Because I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, all right.
And we agreed that the event was the Met Gala.
Yes.
Or Gala.
Yeah.
That one.
Gala. Gilly. All right. So, Clint and Erin said the Met Gala with a bonus of Fashion Institute. Jonathan and Megan, what did you say?
I loved looking at the pictures of all the pretty dresses from the Met Gala, so I knew it was the Met Gala right away. I had no idea on the bonus. Jonathan suggested the Smithsonian, and that sounded like a good answer to me, so we locked in with the Met Gala and the Smithsonian.
All right. So Jonathan and Megan said Met Gala and Smithsonian. Clint and Erin said the Met Gala and Fashion Institute. Congrats, guys. You both got the Met Gala part. The bonus is the weirdest part of this, what makes it a human interest story to me. Marilyn Monroe's dress was kept by Ripley's Believe It or Not.
What? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why they had it, I have no idea.
What was the Believe It or Not part of that dress? Believe it or not, this is the real dress.
Yeah. And it was the Ripley's Believe It or Not in Orlando, even. Like, it's like, yeah, nothing to do with Marilyn Monroe, but sure. They had it.
I was not getting there.
No, not whose posts I saw on Facebook, because that I would have remembered.
Yeah. Erin, what I think you're thinking of is the Costume Institute, which is a offshoot of the Met Museum in New York. So, like, the Costume Institute is like a smaller sub-museum within the Met, and they handle a lot of the hosting of the Met Gala. Okay. So I think that's probably what you saw.
That makes sense. That sounds right.
Yeah. Very good, friends. Round 2, question 2. Your category is composers. You may not know his name, but you've heard the works of an Italian composer, Ennio Morricone. He has composed over 100 classical works and over 400 scores for film and television, but he's best known for scoring films in what specific genre?
I have no idea, but sure, let's lock that in.
All right, cool.
Oh, God. Okay, Morricone. I have heard the name. I feel like he's an Oscar-winning name or Grammy-winning. He's an award-winning name as far as I can think. Morricone.
It wouldn't be like a spaghetti western or anything with the Italian name.
Oh, that's not bad. He could have been the... Could have been that guy. I was thinking maybe mob movies, gangster movies could be another way to go.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good one, too.
Right. So those are both answers for a good Italian man.
Zahkia, can you spell his name for me?
Sure. Ennio, E-N-N-I-O, Morricone, M-O-R-R-I-C-O-N-E.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't help me at all.
I actually like Westerns better than mob movies.
All right, let's go Westerns then.
Yeah, we'll do that. We will guess Westerns.
I'm going to need a little bit more information.
We will guess spaghetti Westerns.
Okay. So Megan and Jonathan say spaghetti Western. Clint and Erin, what do you say?
Yeah, so I said Westerns, and he said, yeah, it makes sense because it's spaghetti Westerns. So if you were going to ask for more information, we would have said spaghetti Westerns.
Okay. So both teams are hanging on the Western tip because of spaghetti Westerns. The correct answer is spaghetti Westerns.
Wow.
Woohoo! Yes. Ennio Morricone is behind. Yeah, he did all those. Yeah, he's a fantastic person. And he did a lot. Quentin Tarantino used a lot of his music in his films, and Ennio Morricone ended up scoring an original song for Quentin Tarantino in The Hateful Eight. So, fun fact.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah. 10 points each. Round 2, question 3. In the category of natural beauty at national parks.
Oh, I thought it was a category about me, but I guess national parks throws it out. Damn.
Are there any national parks in Florida you can go
No,
see?
but natural beauty, I was just going by the obvious option there.
Well, this is about Utah. So
It's about you, Taw.
Sometimes called tent rocks or fairy chimneys, these bewitching sedimentary rock formations are found at Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah and can reach heights exceeding a 10-story building. I don't think you're that tall, Jonathan. You're tall, but you're not that tall.
Well, it depends on how big the stories are. Sebastian has stories that are only that thin. You could lift those things about 30 stories.
Erin, is the thing you're thinking of, does it look like what I first suggested?
mm-mm.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever heard of this, so
We'll go ahead and look in.
I'd be open to something like that.
Okay.
I'll let you take it.
Okay. So I know, I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you're talking about. Like there was like a Citibank ad a couple years ago with Alex Honnold and his girlfriend climbing them. And she's like, a new pair of shoes and nylons and the views are incredible or whatever. I can see them in my head. Can't tell you what they're called. Clint clued in on your use of the word bewitching, which makes sense. So I don't. So if we put a couple of words together, let's go with enchanted columns.
Enchanted columns.
Cool.
Love it.
Great.
All right. Clint and Erin say enchanted columns. Jonathan and Meghan, what did you say?
So, yeah, I picture them. We were wondering if we were talking first about different arches or those cylindrical rock formations that extend upwards. And after hearing it again, the question, hearing fairy chimneys, is like, no, these are the ones that are tall and narrow and look like cylindrical rocks stacked on top of each other. And I felt like the word for these was towers. And I feel like there's some kind of modifier for it. And bewitching was a clue that Megan picked up on. So using the best information we had, we locked in with Devil's Towers.
Okay, Devil's Towers. So Clint and Erin gave me enchanted columns. Jonathan and Megan gave me Devil's Towers. Both teams did reach in and catch the bewitching clue. I was definitely putting that down so you could pick it back up. But the correct answer is hoodoos.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I'm annoyed.
I've never heard of that. I know.
They're called
Me either.
hoodoos.
Poodoo is a word in Star Wars for poop. So I got poodoo is the closest I've ever heard to hoodoo.
Yeah. Maybe this is a little poopy question, but hey.
No.
Oh, you live and you learn. But that's the end of round 2. So, Clint and Erin, you have a score of 40. Jonathan and Megan, you have a score of 50. Let's start with round 3, question 1, category of movies.
Movies.
In the UK and Australia, this 1985 movie about a high school wrestler's relationship with an older woman is billed as Crazy for You, which is the name of the song that Madonna performs in the movie.
So you want the name of the movie?
Yeah, I want the name of the movie.
I remember this song.
I am going to have that song stuck in my head now for the rest of the recording.
Bop, bop, bop.
I don't really think that's it.
Okay. If you were making a joke, I don't even know enough to understand why it would be a...
I wasn't making a joke. I just, it came to mind, so I thought I'd say it, but I really don't have much confidence in it.
Okay. Again, can't understate how useless I am on questions like this.
The way that my mind works and the way that I think a lot of times, especially for movies, is visually, right? I see pictures and images and video in my head. I don't have
We're locked in.
Oh, are you? Great.
Oh, geez.
Not great.
So I don't have a single mental video or mental image of a high school wrestler and an older lady in my head. I can't even, if I could see it, I could get it all, right? If I'm guessing at things, like I was saying to Megan, I was guessing, it sounds like the kind of thing that Emilio Estevez would be in, kind of in the 80s, mid 80s. He was athletic, would have looked cute in a singlet and one of the headgear that they wear.
Well, are you saying that because you're seeing him in the Breakfast Club as a wrestler?
Did he dress up like a wrestler in the Breakfast Club at some point?
I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I don't think so.
I thought he was like a football player in the Breakfast Club.
I thought he was a wrestler, but I could be wrong.
It could be. That might be why I'm thinking that. But I don't know who
Either
the
way,
right
I don't
person
have
is.
a better answer.
Yeah, well, it's not the Breakfast Club for sure. And you brought up what movies have Madonna been in. And I pointed out that she was definitely in Desperately Seeking Susan in the early 80s with, I guess, Patricia Arquette. But I don't remember that being anything about a wrestler or an older lady, and I don't feel like that's the song. I know the song. I don't.
No, and if it was she wouldn't be the main character in it for sure.
Right. No, I got literal nothing here.
And I'm gonna need an answer.
I know. I'm seeing I'm seeing this be like a Kathleen Turner movie or I don't know. I have no idea, Megan. Do you have any movie you want to throw out? Do you want to say Desperately Seeking Susan just to have an answer, or do you want to go with...
Sure. I have no idea.
All right. I don't either. We'll say Desperately Seeking Susan because we're desperately seeking an answer.
Okay. Clint and Erin, what did you say?
So I'm a so-so at movies, and Erin made clear to me that she doesn't rise to that level.
Nope.
So the first thing I think of when I hear a movie with, a relationship with an older woman is The Graduate, but it is definitely not The Graduate. That's not from 1985, and I haven't seen it, but I don't believe there's wrestling involved. I then suggested The Outsiders, which I also haven't seen. Not sure what year it is, but felt like about right. Don't believe it's about wrestling. Don't believe it's the correct answer. And then I started to try to think about what's that movie like. Think about a movie that might also be titled Crazy for You. And I haven't seen this movie either. And I also don't really think it's right. But I finally landed on Fatal Attraction.
Okay. So interesting that, Jonathan, you kept saying, I see these movies. I can visualize these movies because the correct answer is Vision Quest.
Of course.
God. I've heard of these. I've heard of this movie, but I've never seen it. I've never even seen an advertisement for it.
It popped up in my YouTube, or it didn't even really pop up in my YouTube. Matthew Modine did because I've been watching Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Matthew Modine plays the wrestler in Vision Quest.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I was just telling people yesterday about how much Stranger Things really gives you this chance to appreciate how fun it is to see the actors and actresses from who were in their early 20s and mid 20s in the 80s and that weren't like the superstars. Like we still see your Julia Roberts, they're still super famous, right? But your Sean Astons and your Matthew Modines who were never like the most famous people, and now when you see them in roles, it's kind of like a warm, fuzzy feeling sometimes for me when I see that.
Yeah, for sure. Like his character is Papa in Stranger Things, but my husband and I have just been calling him Vision Quest the whole time. Round 3, question 2, in the category of anatomy.
Science.
It's
Anatomy.
Anatomy. Oh, science. Okay. The psoas major, the sartorius, the rectus femoris, and the adductors longus and brevis collectively make up some of the muscles in what muscle group? I will even accept the body part that these muscles surround.
Can you spell like all of those?
Yes. So psoas major is PSOAS, major, MAJOR. Sartorius is SARTORIUS. Rectus femoris is RECTUS. Femoris, FEMORIS. And adductors longus and brevis. Adductor is ADDUCTORS. Longus, LONGUS, and brevis, BREVIS. I feel like I'm on the Scripps National Spelling.
You did great. Thank you. And Erin, yes, I'm happy to go with that.
Sweet, we're locked in.
Okay. Yeah, Megan, I was thinking that up front. I was like, okay, so you're the person who literally does this for a living. And then I said to myself, what if she's going to be too detailed? Because we do that sometimes.
That's kind of what I'm worried about.
Right.
So in my clinical head, those are all kind of different muscles. The psoas is a deep hip flexor. It attaches from the spine, crosses the front of the hip. The sartorius starts in the outer hip and goes to the inner knee. The adductors go from they're basically your groin muscles, but most of them attach down by the knee. And then the rectus femoris is one of your quad muscles. So I would say either thigh or hip. I'm probably more hip because all of them insert on the hip.
And if she said we can just say the body part, though, why wouldn't we just say leg? Because that would encompass all of them.
Do you need more specific? We can do leg, and then if she needs more specific, we can say hip.
I just want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a position where we have a negative result because we're trying to be too general. So, Zahkia, give us a little bit of guidance here. Obviously, we know she knows exactly what these things are, but we don't know how to answer your question. What level of specificity are you looking for here?
Pretty specific.
Pretty specific. Okay. Erin, you and Clint, you locked in, but she just told us pretty specific. I don't know if that changes your answer. We've already been talking about ours. Okay, good. I'm glad. So, Megan, based on that, then it sounds like you're saying hip is a place where you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that all of these are attached?
Yeah. I mean, psoas rectus and sartorius all have hip flexor properties, but adductor really doesn't flex the hip, so I wouldn't say hip flexors.
When she said 4 names, I thought it was going to be quadriceps, but it sounds like only one of them was in the quadriceps.
Quadriceps is vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and rectus femoris.
Okay. And they're not all groin, right?
No, the adductors of the groin. Sartorius does a little hip flexing, a little adducting. It kind of crosses over. It does multiple actions. Okay. So that's kind of why I'm really thrown off by this
and one of them,
as the clinician.
One of them is from the spine to the hip, so it's not knee either. So they're all knee. They're all hip.
They're all
can't be more specific than that. Okay, well we will say hip then. It is hip to be square as well, so that fits us.
It is.
If I overthought this, I'm so sorry.
You know what? We all do it.
All right, Clinton, Erin.
Yeah, I went through a similar process to Megan, except without all the clinical background. I'm a runner and a weightlifter, and I sit all day. So as I know where that is, I have a very expensive piece of plastic that I lie on to stretch out my psoas. My adductors are super tight. Like, these are all things that my coach is like, you need to stretch more when it comes to hip mobility. So we said hips.
Both team gave me hip. The answer I was looking for is hip.
There we go.
Yay!
That was the most honest question of the day right there, because we know those hips can't lie.
Yeah. And it's hip to be square, like back to 1985, I guess. Round 3, question 3, in the category of Final Cut Pro. Your question? He started off directing commercials and has since graduated to directing long, graphic, and big-budget movies. But 2004's Dawn of the Dead was directed by what polarizing filmmaker?
Say the movie title one more time.
Dawn of the Dead. 2004's Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
You get year and movie.
Oh, I think actually that might be right, Erin.
No way.
No, I'm not positive, but when you say it, it does, it feels like it could be right.
Okay.
I think let's say that, yeah. You guys, are you locked in?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
We are locked in.
Okay.
All right, so we have a real debate here.
Ooh.
Megan, why don't we start with your piece, what you're thinking, and then I hadn't finished saying what I was thinking, so then I'll continue from there.
All right. So my first thought was Rodriguez. I can't remember his first name. I think it's Robert Rodriguez. It's something alliterative. The guy who partnered with Tarantino a few times. They did the Grindhouse movies. I'm pretty sure that he did the remakes or the continuation of the original Romero movies. What do you think, Jonathan?
So yeah, that's where I was getting stuck, because the Night of the Living Dead was Romero.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe his son is also a filmmaker, Romero Jr. And it struck me as really apropos that a father-son combo, Romero Jr., might pick up the line of The Night of the Living Dead and do Dawn of the Dead in 1984. From an age perspective, is the other thing I was...
Zahkia, what year did you say?
2004.
Oh, 2004. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because if it was 84, my answer goes way out the window.
Yeah, that's what I was about to point out, was the age. I was like, that doesn't feel right. Okay, so it was 2004, then I'm much more comfortable with your answer now. We can go ahead and go with Rodriguez. I don't need to argue that anymore.
All right. So Jonathan and Megan said Rodriguez. Clint and Erin, what did you say?
I said, I don't know. When I hear polarizing, I think Roman Polanski, which gross. And you said, don't think so. And I'm like, no, that's probably fair. Sam Raimi has been on my mind because we talked about him in the last recording. So I said that. And then you said, sure, why not?
Oh, I didn't know you talked about him in the last recording. You probably would have swapped the question out.
Erin and I were commiserating on how bad we thought Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was.
Oh, it wasn't a question. It just came up.
Yeah. And I will, Clint did say George Romero. So if that turns out to be the right answer, I talked him out of it.
No, I didn't think it was right.
Oh.
Ooh, well, the answer is not George Romero, but yeah, you're going to kick yourself a little bit. So
It's not Polanski.
No. So I put a little hint in the category of Final Cut Pro. So you mentioned Sam Raimi, and I believe no, it's Joss Whedon. Sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. So the DC movies, Justice League, the Snyder cut, yeah. So the long, graphic, polarizing, big budget director is Zack Snyder.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Great question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We were nowhere near it, Megan. Neither one of us.
I told Zack Snyder if I was given 1,000 years.
No, I wouldn't have either. It's a good clue in the category, though. I didn't. I figured cut could mean anything in a horror movie, so I wasn't going to stick on it. But knowing the answer now, I can see why it was a good clue.
Yeah. It's fine. So, at the end of round 3, I've got Clint and Erin with 50, and I've got Jonathan and Megan with 60.
All right, 60 to 50.
Hope you guys are ready for some history in your midpoint, because your category is the Emancipation Proclamation.
All right.
So, So this is inspired not by my YouTube, but like a search. So I Googled Emancipation Proclamation, and on the first question on the people also ask is, what did the Emancipation Proclamation actually do? So like there's always some kind of speculation. Oh, we know it freed slaves. What would it actually do? So I'm going to ask you in this question. So per the Constitution, Abraham Lincoln could not end slavery on a federal level during peacetime. He could, however, end slavery as an act of war against slave states that were in open rebellion. However, there were 4 slave-holding states that did not cede from the Union. Thus, the Emancipation Proclamation did not apply to them. For 5 points each, name those 4 states.
So the 4 states that were slave states that were part of the Union is what you're looking for?
Yeah, 4 slave-holding states that did not cede from the Union.
And technically these were, or let me say that differently, these were all technically states at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're locked in.
Okay, it's time to sound dumb. Yay! Oh, God. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what the heck things were that we know the names of. For example, I'm certain that there is something called the Kansas Nebraska Act. I believe that that was admitting one state as a slave state and one state as a non-slave state. There is something called the Missouri Compromise. Cannot remember what the hell the Missouri Compromise was. It may be the same kind of thing with a different state like Arkansas or something like that. But at least in the Kansas Nebraska Act situation, Megan, if there was one slave state and one free state that were entered, unless Kansas stayed as a union state, then it doesn't help us.
Right.
Then there's the Mason-Dixon line, which, God bless it, I can't remember exactly where it crosses, but I think it's over the top of...
That's Maryland, Pennsylvania.
Is it Maryland, Pennsylvania? So it's higher than...
I believe so.
So Maryland was a union state, right?
Yes.
And Delaware would have been a union state then, because there's no way they were Confederate if they are tucked inside of Maryland like that.
Right.
So Maryland and Delaware seem like good guesses.
Okay. Do you want to go with Missouri and Nebraska then for the other 2?
I don't, because I don't think they were slave states. In fact, I'm pretty certain that Nebraska wasn't, because Kansas was a more southerly state, meaning that the whole point of the Kansas-Nebraska Act is that Nebraska was not a slave state.
Right, right. And I completely conflated the Missouri Compromise and the Kansas-Nebraska Act. I thought it was between Kansas and Missouri, so that's where my head's at.
Mm-hmm. Other places... So the Mason-Dixon line is a good point. It's between Maryland and Pennsylvania. What's directly to the left of Maryland?
Virginia?
No, that's
Is it kind of like it's
right.
more south?
Yeah. West Virginia, though, was West Virginia a Union state or a Confederate state?
Jeez, I have no idea.
I think it was a Union state. I feel like this was actually one of the reasons why it was split off, maybe?
From Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel okay about that. We can do that. And then
going back to the Kansas-Nebraska Act for a hot second,
mm-hmm.
If Nebraska was admitted as a free state and Kansas was admitted as a slave state, did Kansas secede?
I don't remember. I would imagine yes, but I don't know. What is directly to the left of, or southwest of Pennsylvania? It's Ohio, right?
Ohio's kind of west of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Is there another state in between?
That's West Virginia.
Yeah. Do you know if Ohio was a slave state?
Soon.
Okay. You need an answer soon. Do you know if Ohio was a slave state or a free state?
I don't know.
I don't know. Seems like that if we're right about half of our stuff, then that is kind of the latitude, longitude of the answer grouping that we're looking at.
I'd feel better about Kansas than Ohio.
You would?
But
okay. Then we can do that.
I have no rhyme or reason behind that.
Yeah, well, we're just guessing, so I'm cool with it. So we'll say Delaware, Maryland, West Virginia, and Kansas.
Okay. Clinton, Erin, what did you say?
So the first two that I thought of that I'm pretty sure are Kentucky and Maryland. I believe that Maryland is where Lincoln suspended habeas corpus controversially, in part for some reason or by some method that I don't fully understand, to prevent them from actually seceding. Like that was his aim, is what I believe I've heard. And Kentucky just came to mind. I feel like I've heard that one as well. I'm a little worried about Kansas now that you brought it up. I'm very confident that Missouri was a slave state, and we put that on our list. That was Erin's suggestion. And then I thought West Virginia as well. She said exactly the same idea you had, Jonathan, that they broke apart maybe to keep from seceding. So our answers are Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, and West Virginia.
Okay. So let's have a little history lesson.
Teach us, teacher, teach us.
We clearly need it.
So I think both teams said Maryland, and that is correct. Maryland was a union state that still held slaves. Jonathan and Meghan, you came up with some really good logic that worked for you, that Maryland and Delaware didn't really make sense to not be doing the same thing since Delaware is tucked in there. So Delaware was also a slave-holding, non-seceding union state.
I think we should call it Delaware. Delaware sounds good.
Delaware?
Delaware.
So here we're going to talk a little bit about the Missouri Compromise, the Kansas Nebraska Act, all that fun stuff. So the Missouri Compromise was a bit of legislation or something, a negotiation that let Missouri join the United States as a slave state. The compromise is that Maine gets to join the Union too as a free state. So yeah, Missouri and Maine joined the Union at the same time, and that was the compromise. They wanted to keep an even balance of slave and free states. The Kansas Nebraska Act repealed the Missouri Compromise because that was the decision that states could decide whether or not they wanted to be a slave state or not. And that led to Bleeding Kansas, when you had both pro-slavery and anti-slavery people in the state of Kansas killing each other. John Brown got his army and went to Kansas. I don't know how that hasn't been a movie, but I would watch a movie on Bleeding Kansas any day of the week. So because of that, Missouri indeed is a correct answer here. It is a slave-holding union state because they did not cede from the Union. I don't remember how they voted in Kansas or Nebraska, but neither of them is correct because they either were not slaveholding or they ceded from the Union. The last correct answer was said, though, and it is Kentucky, the state that is southeast or southwest of Pennsylvania. To answer for West Virginia, though, I think both teams kind of said something along the lines of this. It was part of Virginia during the Civil War, but they did split off to join the Union because they were so anti-slavery there. They're like, we're not doing that. So West Virginia was part of the Union, but was not a slaveholding state.
It really gets messy in there for me geographically because Kentucky is directly on the same parallel as Virginia. And it's such a southern state now mentally that it definitely is a hard one to pull. That's a good job out of you, Clint, for sure.
Yeah.
And it is right under Ohio as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's right over there. Not right over there. It's 4 hours that way, but.
Yeah. All right, friends. So at the end of the midpoint, we have Jonathan and Meghan with 70 and Clint and Erin with 65.
Oh, boy.
It's a tight game.
Coming for you.
All right. Before we get on with the second half of today's game, I want to bring you a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Guys, we need to take care of our brains, all right? But seriously, especially now, we're trivia players. You're listening to this, you're a trivia player, whether it's in a bar or on Jeopardy or The Chase or whatever other game show you're trying to do, or even if it's just in your house playing Trivial Pursuit against your brother or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever. It doesn't matter where you play. You need your brain to be working the best that it can. You ever thought about how much the distractions in our lives pull down our performance? Your brain isn't like a car. It's not something that you can trade in and get a new one. It's more like a computer you're going to have your whole life, and you need to reboot the doggone thing more than once a month. That's where a service like BetterHelp can come in. You can get matched up with the perfect therapist for you, and if it's not the perfect one on the first try, you can get rematched and try a different one. There are great therapists on BetterHelp. This is an online service. You can do your therapy via the video or phones or live chat. You don't even have to be on the camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and it takes less than 48 hours to get started. I know that for me, the chance to talk to my therapist on a weekly basis is a difference maker, and I bet it will be for you too. Our listeners at Trivial Warfare will get 10% off of their first month. Go to betterhelp.com/TWA. That's BetterHelp, the HELP.com/TWA, and get signed up for your 10% off. And start rebooting your brain a little bit. Let's get that thing working as well as it can. Today's show is also sponsored by SporkleCon. You guys know, a lot of you know that I had a big get-together here in Jacksonville this weekend, and it was really cool to hear how many of these people I'm going to get to see again soon at SporkleCon. It's in Washington, D.C., September 23rd through the 25th, and it is going to be the trivia event of the year. No bones about it. It's hosted by Austin Rogers, and a little birdie told me, I can't say anything official yet because it hasn't been announced, but we will be doing maybe a live recording of Trivial Warfare that I would love to see you at SporkleCon in Washington, D.C. on the 23rd through the 25th. We're going to have a couple of teams. Not sure how we're picking the teams yet, but I do know who the captains are, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If this isn't one of the funniest episodes of Trivial Warfare we record, I will be shocked. It's going to be a great time. And Trivial Warfare is not the only thing that you're going to get to do at SporkleCon. We already know that on Friday night, we're going to have the biggest Sporkle party in the history of Sporkle parties. It's going to be fantastic. The signature event is going to be a big battle of the brains on Saturday night, so make sure you get your teams ready to go. If you don't have a team and you're going to SporkleCon, you need to post about it in the Trivial Warfare Army Facebook group. See if you can get you a team together, because you're going to want to have some friends that help you to have the most fun you possibly can. I even know our guy Nick Crowe is one of the hosts here at Trivial Warfare, is going to be running an event with his district trivia company as well at SporkleCon. So there's going to be Trivial Warfare people all over the place. We're going to be the event is going to be lousy with your friends from this show. You don't want to be the one who's left out. You need to go to sporklecon.com and grab your tickets. I can't wait to see you in DC at SporkleCon. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game.
Let's kick off round 4, question 1. Your category is cities. What city, whose full name translates into English as Saint Sebastian of the January River, was established in 1565 at the Guanabara Bay? Hint, it is now the 21st largest city in the world.
Can you spell Guanabara?
Yes. Guanabara.
Guanabara.
Yes.
And can you spell bay?
Bay.
B-E-Y or B-A-Y? We need specifics here.
I mean, it's
Queens
B-A-Y,
involved.
but
Right.
Guanabara Bay sounds like it should be a rapper.
Exactly. St. Sebastian of the January River.
Yes.
Okay.
We can lock in.
Oh, what?
Crap.
Clint can lock in. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, I mean, Megan's like, Spanish? And you're like, we're locked in. It's like, wait a minute now. We don't even know what we're talking about yet.
January in Spanish is enero. River is Rio.
de Janeiro.
I'm trying to think. There
January.
we go.
Janeiro.
There we go. Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, it's got to be. Who knows? I think you're right. You got River, you got Jan.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, let's do it. Rio de Janeiro.
Okay. Clint and Erin.
Rio de Janeiro, River of January.
I was also, when you said Spanish, I thought to myself, it sounds more Portuguese to me. And frankly, that's a real distinction that I didn't understand a couple of years ago.
Oh, Spanish versus Portuguese?
As the subtleness, because if you don't know what to listen for, they sound similar to me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I took a Brazilian history course in college, and I learned how to de-Spanish my Portuguese pronunciations of things. Mm-hmm. But yes, the correct answer is Rio de Janeiro, as we would say with our fun English accents. And I learned that its full name is Saint Sebastian or San Sebastian of Rio de Janeiro. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So very fun. 10 points for everybody.
Woo!
So round 4, question 2, in the category of geography.
Geography.
Geography. What is the world's largest freshwater lake by volume, containing around 22% of the world's fresh surface water?
I actually would rather go with yours. I just am throwing that out there in case it happens to be like, oh, I knew that was the right answer after all.
Fair enough. We will lock in.
Great.
Okay, there's a couple of thoughts here, Megan. The first thought is Lake Superior. I've always been under the impression that that's the biggest freshwater lake in the world. So push comes to shove, I'm leaning there, but I do want to throw out other options for you in case anything sticks, okay?
Yeah.
Lake Baikal in Russia, I believe, is known as the deepest lake, and it's freshwater. Right. And from a depth perspective, you can add a hell of a lot of volume.
Without a hell of a lot of area.
Exactly. So I'm thinking about that one. I'm thinking about Victoria in Africa. I don't know how large that is, but it always comes up.
Okay.
So you brought up the Great Bear Lake, and there's also the Great Slave Lake up there. Both of those are huge.
Right. My first thought was one of those too, but I don't know.
I think the Bear Lake is shallow.
Maybe it's by area that I'm thinking of. That's the largest lake, but not by volume.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If you're leaning towards Superior, I'm okay with that. That sounds good to me.
She said the categories.
Or if you want to go with Baikal, I don't know.
I am definitely worried about Superior feeling like the really, really obvious choice answer in a 4th round question. But I would then hate to get it wrong because we forced ourselves to answer something that, you know what, whenever people give Baikal the superlative of the deepest lake, I don't remember ever hearing them say it's also the largest by volume.
Largest.
So I think we should go with Superior. Unless, is there any reason to think Superior is saltwater, then we need to do something about that. Otherwise, I think I'd say Superior.
I'm 95% sure it's not.
Okay, then let's say Lake Superior.
Okay. Clint and Erin.
Come on, you guys, stop doing that. So I said Superior right away because I don't know if you guys have caught there's a guy that runs a parody Lake Superior Twitter account, and he blew up last week because he was saying some political stuff and was saying some great political stuff. And he's like, I'm the largest freshwater lake in the world. So I said Superior based entirely on the fact it's a recency bias, but also I'm pretty sure I read that when I was reading his tweets. So we said Lake Superior. But Clint also did say Victoria, just in case that's right.
This is so interesting to me. This isn't fresh from YouTube. This is fresh as a wound to me because I missed this question in my 5th grade geography B. And
it's
it
still
was just haunting
fresh?
me, so I had to put it in here. So, and when I was asked this question, I also said Lake Superior. And I was wrong. So Lake Superior is the largest when it comes to surface area, but by volume, it's Lake Baikal.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Bless
Okay,
it.
well, in that case, yeah, you guys can talk yourselves out of the right answer all day long. That's fine.
My God. Oh, it's always bad when it's right there and you're thinking about it and choose to not use it and it turns out to be right. That's the worst of the ways to get something wrong.
Yeah, but it will always stay with me. That man is like, see his face.
So Baikal then is both the deepest lake and the most volume or highest volume freshwater?
So I don't know if it's the deepest.
Well, maybe it's not.
I've heard that.
That's what
I've
I know
heard
it
that
for.
Well, you know what? We owe it to the people to find out. We don't want to leave them hanging.
Yeah.
Deepest freshwater lake. Baikal. 12,250 meters deep. And the deepest in North America is the Great Slave Lake.
Ooh, that's the Canadian one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right, very cool, friends. Let's get to round 4, question 3 in the category of music.
Music.
Ooh, this is going to be a fun one. Although I say that about all my questions. I love them all. They're like my children. Don't tell my actual child that. This form of Japanese pop music, whose name derives from the target demographic of urbanites, takes influences from soft rock, R&B, and jazz, among others. It peaked in popularity in the 80s, but has seen a resurgence in TikTok and was cited by Harry Styles as an influence on his most recent album.
Zahkia, I wish you'd throw some more 90s stuff instead of all this 80s stuff at us.
I was really in an
Same.
80s mood. It's watching all the Stranger Things. I'm sorry.
We're looking for a name for a Japanese, a form of Japanese pop, right?
Yes.
When you said takes its name from city dwellers, no, sorry, urbanites. I apologize. You said urbanites. Were you indicating that in the Japanese language, or was this an English?
So no,
word?
it is the name of the form of pop music is in English.
Oh, so it's an English word.
Yeah, it's an English word.
Okay, that is significantly helpful. Thank you.
Yes, it is English.
Not helpful to me.
Yeah, it does not at all.
I'm not saying it gets us closer to the answer, but it keeps us from having to explore a whole set of information we don't know anything about.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Clint and I are sitting here like throwing around Japanese words. I'm like, I don't know how to make this a guess without sounding super racist. So it's good that it's an English word. So we'll just sound dumb instead of dumb and racist.
Yeah, I don't think I would be as cruel as to ask you something in a language that I am assuming that most people on this call do not speak. Yeah, the answer is an English word. And you have about a minute to come up with this English word that you want to use.
Okay, we are locked in.
Okay.
Oh, we don't even have an answer. Like nothing. Megan, I don't have anything, honestly, and I don't think you do either right now. So let's save our time here and just say we can say new wave. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, we'll say new wave.
All right, Jonathan and Megan say new wave. Clint and Erin, what do you say?
We said Tokyo pop.
Tokyo pop. So it's so funny, Jonathan, when you asked me for clarification, I thought you were just going to get it because you're like, it's city dwellers. It's for city dwellers. Yeah, it is for city dwellers because the correct answer is just city pop.
Oh no!
No.
Yep, just city.
We thought of that, but I've literally never heard that before.
Yeah.
I've never heard of city pop.
I love city pop. Like, I didn't realize that my dad was into it. like he would have this Japanese pop music that he'd play around the house sometimes. And I was really cool. I was really into it. It's nice. And then like I'm scrolling through TikTok and I'm like, oh, I like this song. This kind of sounds like the stuff that my dad used to play when I was little. And I learned, oh, it's city pop. And it became huge on TikTok. And Harry Styles was like, oh, I love city pop. So yes, city pop is the correct answer.
I am just
We all learned a new term today.
just not hip enough for current questions anymore.
No.
Now you're cooler because you know about it.
I don't
mean,
think
it was
that
big
makes
in
me
me.
cooler.
That makes the end of round 4, yes? So each team picked up 10 points. So Clint and Erin have 75. Jonathan and Meghan, you have 80.
So still a 5-point lead. Man, I feel like we fell behind, but I guess we didn't.
Nope.
Aaron, you're feeling like I did in the last game where it's like I'm always 5 behind. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Round 5, question 1. Category botanicals.
Ooh.
Daffodils and jonquil flowers share what genus name? The origin of the genus name is technically unknown, but you can think that it comes from the Greek word for intoxicated or the main figure in a famous Greek myth.
What was the second botanical you named?
Jonquil.
No, let's go with the first one.
Okay. We will lock in.
Okay.
Okay, so Dionysus is the god of wine in Greece. I don't know I don't know what the Greek word for intoxication is. I'm trying to think of Greek mythological characters. You got your Theseus and Perseus and Jason and Odysseus, and I mean I can name a bunch of crap, a bunch of it. I don't know if the mythological story character also has a relationship to intoxication or not, but I would assume yes. What do you think?
I think it was the last episode that you guys released. I was listening to it this past week that somebody said they had all their mythology knowledge from Rick Riordan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at.
That's still a good starting point.
I read the Percy Jackson books a few years ago as like a cheat sheet for Roman mythology. I'm trying to think of, tox is a Greek root, so I don't know what a Greek word for intoxicated could be.
Oh, I see what you mean. And intoxication doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be...
Right.
Could be smoke. It could be anything. You have Morpheus. That's dreams, the god of dreams.
The god of dreams.
But Orpheus sounds like Morpheus.
Got about a minute left.
He was a musician, and it could be said that Orpheus left people in a trance when he played his music. So that's not a bad thought. That could be a mythological story that's Greek that ties in with intoxication.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of other ways to intoxicate. That's probably the best one I'm going to come up with in the next minute.
Let's go with Orpheus then.
Okay, we will guess. Zahkia, what specific thing did you want as the answer line in the question?
So it's the name of the genus of the flowers.
Okay, so, I guess it... Oh, God, I hope it's not Dionysus. But he's not the main character in a myth. He's just the god. So, yeah, let's say Orpheus.
Okay. Clint and Erin.
So we talked about Orpheus, but we went with Narcissus because my recollection, and Clint agreed, is that he was the one who looked at himself for so long that he turned into a flower, I think. And then we locked in, and then Clint texted narcotic at me in all caps. So that appears to be maybe that. That was our answer. Best guess.
He was turned into a flower, but everything fits.
Yep.
It's going to come out and say it. Clint and Erin hit it right on that.
Nice.
Good
Good work,
answer
team.
is Narcissus. So, yes, the Greek word narcotics. Some flowers are described as being narcotic flowers. And the Greek is Narcissus.
I did think of Narcissus, but
I had it in my head, but I couldn't connect it to the clues.
I couldn't get to the word that would mean anything with intoxication, and his myth by itself isn't about intoxication at all.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
But the
There's
turning into
I
a
was
flower
thinking-
part is a nice connection, and I didn't get all the way there when I thought of the myth either.
It kind of could be about intoxication because he's like looking in the pond and he's intoxicated
with his own image.
himself.
Okay, friends. Round 5, question 2. Your category is en flambe. In North America, what word is shouted when you are served saganaki, which is melted cheese, a sprinkle of lemon juice, with the help of a little brandy or other alcohol?
Can you spell Saganaki?
Yes. Saganaki.
They come out and they shout, "This food is on fire!"
About a minute left, friends.
I'll pick the very last one if that sounds good.
Go for it. We are locked in.
Great.
Okay.
All right. So, in my imagination, which is the place that this must be happening, when Saganaki is served, somebody comes out in a copyrighted Marvel uniform and says, "Flame on!" A la the Human Torch. Yeah, honestly, we have no idea. We know nothing. So
Big old bag of nothing.
We got nothing. That's our answer. Yeah, no, we don't. That's our
big old
answer.
bag of nothing.
We don't have anything. That flame on is our answer.
All right.
Okay.
Flame on. Okay.
We talked about a few ideas, such as Opa, Ole, Fire, Ew, and then looking at the name En Flambe, I thought maybe just Fire in the Hole. Fire in the Hole. It would be a fun thing to yell. And that's what we locked in with.
Fire in the hole. Okay. I will say that neither of you gave the correct answer, but one of you said it. So I was hoping for some like Greek momentum. So Saganaki is a Greek dish. It's melted, usually sheep's or goat's milk cheese, and it's melted because it's lit on fire with the brandy or alcohol. They put out the lemon juice, and as they light it on fire, they say, "Oppa!"
Sounded Japanese.
Yeah.
It does sound Japanese for some reason.
We had the idea that it might be Greek, but we still didn't come to Opa.
No.
We don't know any relationship between them.
Yeah, it's Oppa.
What does Opa mean officially? I looked this up the other day and I couldn't find a good meaning.
Yeah, I think it just means hey, or it's like a celebration sound.
It's like a celebration word, yeah.
Opa.
Oppa! Yeah. Okay, sorry about that one.
No, hey.
Round 5, question 3. Your category is world leaders. At 36 years old, Gabriel Boric is currently the youngest state leader in the world, coming to prominence after negotiating changes to this country's constitution in 2019 and eventually being elected their president 2 years later.
Could you spell his name?
Yeah. Gabriel Boric.
You said there's Boric, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, about less than a minute.
We'll lock in.
All right. Well, we cannot parse that name, and we're not familiar with the situation. Obviously, it's a country that had some kind of constitutional crisis or some kind of constitutional situation in the last few years. Boric sounds Eastern European to us, but Gabriel sounds like a Hispanic name to us. We're not familiar with any Hispanic Eastern European countries, so that didn't help. Yeah, we're stuck. We don't really have a good answer, and so I think we just agreed that we're going to go Spain.
Okay.
So I know Chile is currently in the process of rewriting their constitution, so that was my first thought, and I dismissed it because the timing was off. Same thing, Boric, based on what I know about hockey players, is Eastern European, and for that reason and no other, we said Czechia.
All right, Czechia. All right, this is another situation where the correct answer was said but not given.
No.
So, yeah, the rewriting of the Chile's constitution started in 2019. Gabriel Boric is a Croatian Chilean.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Of course.
Well, hey, I said Croatian.
You sure did. You were like, it sounds like a Croatian name.
Yes, he is a Croatian Chilean, and he is very young, and he was just sworn in as His Excellency of Chile in March of this year.
How old is the leader of Finland? I thought she was the youngest.
So she is, oh goodness, I think she's like 37 or 38.
Okay, so it's real close.
Yeah, it's really close between Gabriel Boric, the leader of Montenegro, which is actually in Eastern Europe. And they are like days, like it's neck and neck between those two. And then the leader of Finland, I think her name is Sama, something like that.
She's very close to my age, and she was the youngest when she was sworn in or elected or elevated or whatever. But yeah, I'm annoyed.
She might have been 36 in like 2019 or 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was still an ongoing process. My best friend knows a guy who's been very involved in the politics down there, but apparently I haven't been getting specific enough updates.
Oh, that's really interesting, though.
Yeah.
Like, that is really cool.
Super interesting. And I feel like I was joking with Clint that, like, I can think of several reasons why a country might want to revise a constitution. And I feel like most people, when I make that kind of reference, what's been going on in Chile, most people don't know about it. Because for some reason, we just didn't really talk about it here. So if you don't know what's been going on, go check it out because it is interesting and I like it.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I'll just say that. After round 5, we have a lead change.
Oh.
Yeah, Clint and Erin, you guys have 85. Jonathan and Meghan, you have 80.
There it is.
There
Still
it is.
time for a comeback.
Round 6, question 1. Your category is makeup for bombshells. Though it's currently used in ammunition, fireworks, and matchstick production, this atomic element was used by Egyptians circa 3100 BC to create their signature eyeliner looks.
I'm just trying to remember. I definitely have heard this, and it's possible that's right. Let's go with it because I can't pull it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Locking in with
Yeah.
So, Megan, say what you said about the Egyptian eyeliner.
Yeah, I feel like the term that they used for the eyeliner was kohl, like the name of the store, but singular. That's how I remember it.
But our coal is just made of carbon, so
obviously it's not an element.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan, you suggested lead.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know that I've seen before what elements are primary in gunpowder, and the other things like matchsticks and that dynamite and whatever. That's gunpowder stuff. And
it
lead
wouldn't be like magnesium, would it?
I was wondering about magnesium too. It could be.
That's more explosive than lead is.
Yeah, it is. Isn't it so explosive, though, that you can't have it in daylight or in oxygen because it just lights up?
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be magnesium then.
Yep.
Maybe it is. Maybe they just do a really good job keeping it out of the air. But it seems problematic. Phosphorus.
Right.
What about phosphorus? Phosphorus, magnesium, iron, and lead. These are things that I feel like can be powdered. That phosphorus and magnesium in particular are ones that have explosive properties, I think.
You know, phosphorus is actually tickling something. I don't hate that answer.
No? Well, we know phosphorescent stuff lights up.
Right.
I'm also I'm going through the back of my head, and I think the different colors in fireworks there's a certain element they use for that, and I can't remember if that's iron or.
They use a different element for each color.
That's what it is, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. There's copper and there's carbon and there's something else, and I've heard that. Is
it possible? Because one of the things I know is in gunpowder is sulfur. And that's the first thing that I said because of that reason. I know, regardless of what else in there, I know there's sulfur in there.
Right. But sulfur's yellow.
Exactly. And the eyeliner stuff...
And they don't have yellow eyeliner.
Isn't. Right. Is it possible that it's mixed with something to achieve the color?
I think she said the element was the eyeliner.
She did. Okay.
So
I don't know what color phosphorus is.
And if it's going to be mixed with something, then magnesium's back on the table.
Uh-huh. And phosphorus is not dark, is it?
I don't know.
I didn't think it was. I mean, that's things like chromium and cobalt and those things are the darker.
Well, heck, if it's going to be mixed with something, carbon's on the table for the eyeliner.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be carbon. She wouldn't give the clues about the matches and the fireworks and that stuff.
Let's go phosphorus.
Are you sure you don't want to go lead? Because I think that they used to have lead makeup, didn't they? I don't know if it was the Egyptian makeup, but I think lead used to be regularly in makeup.
I think lead was in the powder that they used for their faces in Elizabethan era.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Egyptian eyeliner.
Okay, then let's say phosphorus.
And if it is lead, I'm sorry.
Oh, shoot. Hey, if it's magnesium, I'm sorry.
All right, Clint and Erin.
So I got up to wander just because I've been sitting all day and I'm stretching my legs, which is good because it means that you guys couldn't see my face when you said phosphorus and then circled back around to it and stuck to it because my first instinct was sulfur? No. Clint got to watch my brain come derailed in real time. So I wrote a question about the answer of which was phosphorus a couple of months ago, and I referenced Strike Anywhere matches. Shout out to Strike Anywhere, which was a Richmond punk band in the 90s and aughts. So, and he was like, Clint said, yeah, I think it was something that's toxic. I'm like, pretty sure phosphorus is toxic. So we went with phosphorus.
Phosphorus. So, guys, I deeply apologize. I feel like I went with the most deep cut of atomic elements. The answer is antimony.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
I feel better.
That was not in my top 10.
Nope.
Don't hate me, please.
That one is fun because it's the one whose symbol is SB, right? It appears on the list of elements whose symbols don't match the words they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only reason I've ever heard of it.
It's also poisonous, I think.
Until now.
Yeah, it's poisonous. Yeah. And it was in Kohl, Kohl, Egyptian eyeliner back in the day.
I heard about this on Misinformation episode. They did one that was all about makeup.
Yeah.
Round 6, question 2, category animals. Dorset, Jacob, Caracal, and Merinos are all types of what animal?
Dorset.
Mm-hmm. Dorset, Jacob, Caracal,
I've got it, Jonathan,
and Merinos.
Cool. And I think we can lock in.
We're locked in.
Okay.
And you have meow meow, Megan? No. She doesn't. There's no hesitation if you do.
I have meow.
Yeah.
I don't have meow meow. I have meow.
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 I am happy to go with you on that.
Cool. I think it's sheep's. Merino wool is a thing, and the others all sound very pastoral and Scottish, so we're going to go with sheep.
Yeah, I'm a knitter and a crocheter, so I work with wool a lot. Merino wool is one of the more popular kinds, so we also said sheep.
Sheep is the correct answer. Yay!
Yay!
We got one! Yeah!
Yeah. Some relief. All right. Round 6, question 3. Your category, lifestyles of the rich and famous. He has returned to prominence in a 2022 streaming series, but this actor took fewer acting roles to focus on studying livestock, crops, and agricultural machinery to renovate a farm he purchased in 2007. In 2013, he even released a clothing line inspired by it.
You said back in the limelight with a web series?
Yes, a streaming series.
Oh, wow. Maybe the questions aren't that hard. I'm just going brain dead. I can't think of things that are just are basic anymore.
Can you send me stuff that he's been in?
Yeah.
You can send it to me too. It's for the chat. It won't help me.
That's. I just thought of his name. Yeah.
Well, could be. My streaming backlog is so backed up. I have no time to look at new shows.
I can't help with that part of the question. Like I said, there's too many streaming shows and not enough Jonathan. Zahkia, did your question imply that this person is the star of the streaming show or is just in the streaming show?
He's in the streaming show. He plays a big part in it.
Okay. Do you want to lock that in, Megan?
Yeah.
All right. We'll go ahead and lock in. You guys can talk.
Okay, well, we don't know the answer, or we would have locked in much earlier.
I was saying I've been rewatching Battlestar Galactica. I'm not super up on current streaming shows, but Clint said Jason Sudeikis because Ted Lasso's huge, and I was like, yeah, that's a guy whose name I know. And then he said something else.
And I said Severance, and I said, but that's Adam Scott, and he didn't leave the limelight. And I just said that. Do I know he didn't leave the limelight? I feel like I like him a lot. What else has he been in since Parks and Rec? That's a good question. When did Parks and Rec end? It went into the 2010s, didn't it? Or did it?
I have no idea. I got on that train late, just like everything else. But I couldn't tell you anything else he's been in since then. But I also couldn't tell you anything else anyone has been in since the last thing they did. So I am useless, except that I don't hate Adam Scott because he did a podcast about U2, and then he did a podcast about REM and just went through all their albums and just talked about them. And I feel like he's the kind of guy who has a lot of weird hobbies and side hustles. So if you told me he's been farming for the last decade, I would believe you.
Would you believe me if I told you he put out a line of clothing?
Sure.
Let's lock in with Adam Scott.
Cool.
All right.
And we were searching for actors out of the limelight. I threw out a couple of options. The first one was Russell Crowe, who I don't feel like I've seen doing anything, but maybe he's just doing things I don't pay attention to. But the other one was somebody who's felt even more out of the limelight, so much so that people write listicle articles about him saying, where the hell is he? We guessed Brendan Fraser.
Ooh, Brendan Fraser. Oh, the 2022 streaming series is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh.
The actor that's been out of the limelight for a while that decided to take up farming in the meantime is Hayden Christensen.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have seen. This is a show that I've watched. So out of curiosity, I didn't even look. There's a couple of scenes where I shouldn't. Spoiler alert. So you just fast forward if you want to. If you don't want to hear anything about the show. There are a couple of scenes where Darth Vader's mask is damaged and you see underneath a little bit and you see him in the back of the tank a couple of times. Is that Hayden Christensen? Because there is a scene where there's another scene, like a flashback scene where you see him as he was when he looked younger and he just has a little bit of an older face. But I'm wondering if the actor underneath the suit in those scenes is Christensen.
I don't know. I know he's being credited as Darth Vader.
Oh, wow.
Right now.
That's interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah. So, yeah. That wraps up round 6.
I feel like we didn't score much in the second half.
No.
It was spicy. Spicier than I intended. Am I sorry? So at the end of round 6, like you guys picked up 10 points each. So Clint and Erin, you have a score of 95. Jonathan and Megan, you have a score of 90.
95 to 90. All right. And what's the category for the gauntlet?
Women in war.
Huh. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
All right. Our wager is locked in.
Okay.
All right. Ours is 2.
Your first question of the gauntlet in the category of women in war. Nzinga Mbandi, baptized by the Portuguese as Ana de Souza, was a battle tactician, negotiator, and queen of Ndongo and Matamba, organizing resistance against slavery for her people in what modern-day country?
Okay, we're locked in.
No. Our answer is locked in.
Okay. A question 2 of the gauntlet. Known as India's Joan of Arc, Lakshmi Bai, the consort of the state of Jhansi, was a leader in the Indian Rebellion against the British in 1857. She's also known by what honorific, the Sanskrit word for queen?
We are locked in with a guess. It's not even a swag, it's just a wag.
Okay.
Our answer is locked in.
Final question of the gauntlet, category Women in War. This queen of the British Iceni tribe led a rebellion against the Roman Empire. Though her uprising failed, she is honored with a statue of her and her daughters near the Palace of Westminster and shares her name with an Enya song.
Ooh, okay.
You didn't give a year on that, did you?
No.
Okay.
I think we should lock in your answer.
All right.
Beautiful.
We're locked in.
All right, our answer's locked in.
We are locked in.
Got it.
So, Nzinga Mbandi, baptized by the Portuguese as Ana de Souza, was a battle tactician, negotiator, and queen that protected her people against slavery in what modern-day country? Jonathan and Meghan, what did you say?
Saw you, Megan.
I guessed Senegal. Portuguese, it sounds African to me. I hadn't heard of any of these words before. So I was just trying to think of where Portugal was colonizing in Africa. And I'm pretty sure that Senegal was one of those countries. So that's where I came up with that.
Yep. And better reason than any I had. So I was on board.
Okay, cool. Clint and Erin.
So I am pretty sure I've heard the name Ana de Souza somewhere. I couldn't have told you where or when. Mbande made me think of Africa, of course. It made me think of the capital of Eswatini, which is Mbabane, or however you would pronounce that. It's probably not Eswatini. I feel like you wouldn't ask that question. And also Portugal made me think of, I think Mozambique was a Portuguese colony for a period of time. And it's down there in the southern part of Africa. So we locked in Mozambique.
Okay. Question 2. India's Joan of Arc, Lakshmi Bai, the consort of the state of Jhansi, was a leader in the Indian Rebellion against the British in 1857. She is known by what honorific? The Sanskrit word for queen. Clint and Erin, what did you say?
Well, we didn't know. So I threw out the word Indira, because maybe she's like Queen Latifah, and we locked in with Indira.
Indira. Okay.
That answer endears me to you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I was thinking of India and their royalty, and I believe princes in India are Rajas. That comes up in crossword clues a lot. And I believe the female counterpart is Rani. I'm not sure if that's queen or princess. Jonathan threw out Sultan, but we didn't know what the female equivalent of that would be, so we locked in with Rani.
Okay. Question 3. The queen of the British Iceni tribe that led a rebellion against the Roman Empire had a failed uprising, but she is honored with a statue of her and her daughters near the Palace of Westminster and shares her name with an Enya song. Jonathan and Meghan, what did you say?
This is Megan's gauntlet. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I didn't know any of them. She had some ideas, which is more than I had.
I watched a documentary about a woman who led an uprising against the British. I'm not sure what tribe she was from, and I have no idea about the Anya hint, but we locked in with Boudica.
Ah, that sounds way better than what we said.
What did you say?
Well, so the first thing I said was, if it's not Orinoco, I have no idea. And then we kind of went back and forth, and I ended up saying Brunhilde because my brain was nudging around that word, and I think the reason was I was trying to say the thing that they said, but I couldn't get to it. So we said Brunhilde, which I suspect is not going to be the right answer.
Okay. So it is answer time. I'll start with the bottom and go on up. So, question 3, the British queen of the Iceni tribe that led the rebellion against the Roman Empire. The answer is Boudica or
Nice.
Boadicea.
Hey, we got an answer right. Woo!
Is
Good
an acceptable
job.
answer.
Great job.
Woo!
2, India's Joan of Arc, Lakshmi Bai, the consort of the state of Jhansi, leader in the Indian Rebellion, known by what honorific? The Sanskrit word for queen. The answer is Rani.
What?
Wow.
Megan.
Yes.
Showing out.
Wow.
The Rani of Jhansi. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Come on, Senegal. Come on, Senegal.
Nzinga Mbandi, baptized by the Portuguese as Ana de Souza, the battle tactician, negotiator, and queen of Ndongo Matamba, led the resistance against slavery for her people in Angola. I'm sorry.
Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We're playing Meatloaf rules, right?
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
That's
That's
super
hard
impressive.
gauntlet. So 2 out of 3. Yeah,
That was awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think we're going to take the win just with that. So let's wrap up here.
I don't think it works that way,
No?
sir.
Oh, crap. All right. Well, neither team got it right, so it's going to come down to wagers. Megan, you and I, we knew we didn't want to wager a lot, but we had to wager something logically. We couldn't count on them to fall below us, so we wagered 11, which means our final score will be 79. So,
Yeah.
Erin and Clinton, you had 95. If you wagered 16 or more, you will have given the game away. If you wagered 15, actually 16 will be a tie, 15 or less, you will win today's game. What was your wager?
So I texted Clinton like half an hour ago and was like, we're getting pilloried. Let's bet 0. And then he came back with a different offer.
Well, I figure we could be safe if we didn't go below 91. So I said, let's bet 4.
Of course you did. So your wager was 4, correct?
4, yep.
Yes.
Okay, that was the smartest wager you could make. That's a good choice. That's exactly why we went 11. And that means that today's winners are Clint Givens, and Erin Barclay. Good job, guys.
Thanks.
Way to hold off
Thank
the
you, Clint.
furious charge by Megan.
Yeah.
She was
That was
coming
incredible.
after you.
You are a true woman in war there.
Yeah. And
Love it.
Those were all super cool questions about people I wish I knew more about. Like, I wish that I had the kind of familiarity that Megan has and that you have with those, and I'm going to go look them up. I mean, not now, but soon, because they seem really interesting.
The only actual woman that I'd heard of was Boudica. I didn't know either of the other 2 women, so yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is the end of the game. And before we go, we like to give people a chance to do shout outs and promote causes that they care about. We will start with our winning team. Clint, over to you.
Thanks. So I guess I'll start by giving a shout out to my wife, Jess, and my daughter, Av, who are listening to my victory right now.
Hi, Jess. Hi, Av.
Love you both.
Love you.
And then I'll plug the cause that I have been most recently involved with, which is spreading the word about ranked choice voting, which is sometimes called instant runoff voting. There's been a lot of groups that have sprung up in the recent period of time that are pushing various reforms, and this is one that can help reduce polarization in our politics and get better governance, better candidates elected, I think. There's probably a group in whatever state you're located in. Just, I would say, Google it. You can look up Fair Vote or Rank the Vote US and see about getting involved to make it happen.
Very cool. Thanks for letting us know.
Voting in Maine, right?
That's right. They did pass that recently, a couple years ago in Maine. And Alaska now.
Ooh.
All right. And over to Megan. Your turn.
I'd like to shout out my husband, who's been watching the dog and making sure she doesn't bark for the past.
And helping with tech support.
And helping with tech support. Yeah, he was huge helping me get set up today. So, hi Joe.
Hi Joe.
I also want to shout out my my pub trivia teams.
I play on Monday nights with parental supervision required. My dad's on the team. And
Nice.
on Thursday night, we play with the Wolf Pack. So shout out to those guys. My cause, adopt, don't shop. There's a lot of pets in shelters who need homes. And open your home and share some love. You'll get tons of unconditional love back. And I'm a big fan of, I'm a dog mom. I'm not a people mom. I'm a dog mom. So go adopt a dog or a cat or a gerbil or whatever animal you so desire today.
Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. And I love that you called out that your father's on the team on Monday nights. I guarantee if my father was alive during the kind of growth of pub quizzes around the country that we would have found a way to play together. That would have been a lot of fun. So I love that for you.
It's an absolute blast. The team started out with 3 parents and 3 children, and post-COVID, some of the parents haven't come back yet, but it's been a lot of fun. And it's definitely a perk to have a multi-generational pub trivia team.
Yeah, no, that's doing it right there. That's awesome. All right, y'all. Well, that is going to wrap us up. So for Megan, for Zahkia, for Erin, and for Clint, I am Jonathan. This has been episode number 384 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.